often than not, we cry right before we hop on.
See if you can go back and look and see when we're all blotchy and like trying not to be crying when we're like, hi, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the finale of season 1. Is it season 1?
Season 1. Yeah.
Of Inner Archeology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been over a year. I'm pretty proud of us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most people stick with it that long, honestly.
I think that that's a fact. Like,
yeah.
I think like, I feel so proud of us too. Like looking back, and it wasn't just like any old boring year either. Both of us were going through like massive like life events. And we still like showed up. It wasn't always easy. I don't know how many, like today was an example of how many days we like showed up to record and we're crying and we're processing shit and we've got stuff we're working through. And then we keep showing up. And I don't know. I think that is part of like what has made this special, at least for me, is that it's been very raw, very honest. This hasn't been like really like curated and manufactured. It's been like you've gotten the real us in real time.
Yeah.
And I think there's something
more
special
often
about
than
that.
not, we cry right before we hop on
And record.
Life is bananas.
Like, see if you can go back and look and see when we're all blotchy and like trying not to be crying when we're like, hi, welcome to the show.
I literally keep powder like right next to the camera so I can put some on to cover up my cry splotchiness. Like,
listen, this is real life.
This is what we wanted, though. We didn't want it to be super polished or super curated, and that might change a little bit.
Yeah,
well, I mean, we might do so. We might shift into more like planning of episodes,
but and having like really like well thought out ideas that we then dive into in our like the way we do things. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think
we wanted to just establish a practice, and we did that.
We did do that, and there is something to be said about like this has been. So my daughter's kindergarten teacher, this is what she would always say to the little kindergartners. She would say, take risks and persevere. And I feel like this is such a good example of us taking risks. Like, remember how scary it was when we were first recording episodes and how awkward and insecure we felt? And we took a big risk putting ourselves out there and persevered. We just like persevered. And I think that is something that is really special. I don't know.
Actually, I have to say that it's something that I've really gained from this whole process so far is putting more of my personal story out into the like interwebs and feeling good about it. Like when I, went through the whole like sobriety journey or whatever, and we did the episodes on like struggling with addiction. I mean, I was like a mess. I was so scared to like put that out into the world. But then after I did it, I was like, it was fine.
Good.
It was totally fine. And it's like played out in my real life in a way that's like, I don't know. It's like, well, it's already out there. Anyone can find it. And so it's just made me more like confident in who I am in that particular part of me in real life. You know, it's like there's like, it's like I push back on shame, you know?
Yes. And there was like deep layers of accepting
your
story.
Episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt similarly about recording the episodes on religious trauma. I mean, I like pushed it away for like months. I was like,
yeah, you did. I literally at one point, I think it's fun to like talk about behind the scenes. But at one point I was like, is this podcast just becoming Sarah shares all of her vulnerable stuff and Emily
is mysterious?
Yeah. I was like, hello.
Your turn, bitch. Your turn to air the dirty laundry. I know. It was scary. And I feel similarly to all of that. Like I was like really putting it out there, but seeing like the ripple effects and all the emails I got or people reaching out on Instagram or whatever of being like, oh my God, you put words to like feelings that I had or experiences that I had. I was just like, oh, that felt so good to be able to, like, if that helped one person feel like a little bit better about their story, then I
Totally.
was like, okay, that was worth like going through all of that, you know? And I think that
Mhm.
that's like part of what's been so valuable about sharing our stories just in general is that it just, I mean, and this is why we love hearing people's stories, is because we love finding ourselves in other people, and in some
Mhm.
weird way that gives us like permission to be ourselves and love ourselves maybe. And it's been so
Mhm.
exciting to be part of that process for people who are listening to us, you know. It feels like a like an honor actually, you know.
Yeah. And then the unexpected impact it had on the Write Your Way to Freedom annual event,
Yeah.
because I really think it impacted how everybody felt comfortable just going deeper, like real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you like having people come up to you even because it's like they're my students, we interact like on a weekly basis, but you don't. And to have all
Mm.
these students come up to you and be like,
I listen to the
you
podcast.
don't know me, but
I
I
feel like
listened
I
to your
know
podcast.
you. Yeah, so sweet.
And that just like gave you permission, both of you, to like jump into a conversation that was like so much more profound and like not surface level, which is, we all know what you like.
I just like small
So
talk. What are you talking about?
yeah. So it's like, I don't know, like primed a lot of the energy and the experiences and the relationships, which was like, I don't know, that was fucking cool.
That
That was
was so
probably one of
cool.
my favorite impacts of this whole process, was
Mm.
seeing that play out. And it makes me like, I don't know, be fun to do like in-person events like with podcast listeners, which I know like other podcasters do. And I'm
That would be
like
so cool.
a
Oh my God.
retreat, just like
Yeah.
people who want to like talk about
Have these
mindset and beliefs.
conversations.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
and meet friends,
come sit on the
because that's
couch
the
with
other thing.
us. Yeah.
And make friends that want to have these conversations, because it can be really hard to find people in your life that want to
Mm.
like fucking dig into this stuff.
Hmm.
Um,
I love
anyway.
that idea. That is so true. I think that there is like, because how our friendship is, and it's just kind of always, we just like went so deep so fast. And we've always like operated with this level of just curiosity and honesty and vulnerability. And I think that that creates a certain level of safety, because it can feel really scary for most people in relationship to enter into a place of like vulnerability, especially when you're like, I'm experimenting with this idea. I actually don't know, you know, and please don't judge me or
Mhm.
whatever. And seeing like, I think a friendship that kind of emulates that, gives permission and creates a space of that sort of safety, which is, I think, what bled over into the annual event in such a beautiful way, that it was just like all this whole room of people felt safe to like go there, and it was
Yeah.
so wild and
Yeah.
surprising and beautiful and amazing. And I just, yeah, I agree, that was absolutely like such a highlight.
And so unexpected for me. Like,
Mm,
just did not see that coming. I was like, damn, this is cool.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's true too. What you're saying about having the permission to kind of like go vulnerable and go there fast. And I think, and how it creates like a sense of like safety and trust. And I think that's, I don't know, like right now, maybe this is a nice segue actually. Right now, I'm 34 weeks pregnant, and I am feeling like my capacity as a friend is like diminished.
That was a really
And like
gentle, good
today,
way
we're
to
like,
say it.
I was
Oh.
trying not to be like, I'm a shitty friend, because I knew you'd correct me. So
Good job.
I'm learning,
You're doing great.
but I am a piece of shit. Anyway, um,
Oh my God. No,
I feel more comfortable in that place
that's
anyway.
fine.
Okay.
We're good. We're good.
The trash truck. You forgot me.
You
Um,
don't forget me. Trash truck.
um, yeah. Oh, okay. 34 weeks
Mm-hmm.
pregnant, feeling my capacity as a friend
Mm-hmm.
dropping a little bit. Um, and trying really hard not to beat myself up for it. And honestly, like I just kind of feel like in the last few days I've been kind of messy as a friend for you. Like I've just been like, I don't know. And it was nice to just like say that, and for you to just be like, yeah, I've missed you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
And I get
and for
it.
you to not be like, oh, it's okay, you're fine, like it's all the same, and like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like we're
yeah,
both
because
just
I'm not
like,
gonna
it's
bullshit
not
you.
that.
Yeah.
Right, right, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna bullshit me, and
Mm-mm.
like the lack of bullshit means that I can trust you, and we can trust that like we're going, like even if we go through a season where like, I don't know, I'm not on my A game,
Yeah.
we can like at least laugh about it while I'm being a piece of shit.
Totally. And I have like so much, I mean, literally, like, I have so much trust in our relationship because I in the very recent past was like such a mess and like so not like with anything at all. So, like, being able to like hold space for you in this like really important, beautiful like phase in your life that I actually have so much empathy for because I've been through it. I've been there. I know the feelings of being like, I literally cannot deal or care about anybody else right now. Like, I get it, you know? Like, it's so important actually. Like, I see the value in it too because you're reorienting to like this family you're creating. So I
It
think
is
like,
funny.
but I think being able to be honest in it, like, yeah, things are like changing and things are going to continue to change. And I'm probably going to grieve like parts of like our friendship that shifts and changes. And like, that's okay because like, we've gone through a lot of stuff. And I know that this is going to like just make our friendship that much more, I don't know,
Yeah, but
beautiful.
you have to hold the red thread that calls me back to myself, which
Mm, I
I took
have
this
it.
birth class this weekend.
I am wearing it.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I took this birth class this weekend, and Britta, oh, I actually don't know her last name. Her name is Britta, and she wrote the book Transformed by Birth. The book is fucking amazing. And then I took her birth class, and it's like, it was so good. It was so, so good. Because it wasn't just about birth, it was like about me and Ben and how we can support each other. It was about the transformation I'm going through into motherhood, like starting in pregnancy and then beyond.
Mm-hmm.
She like calls the whole transformation like a year beyond birth.
Mm.
Um and also the transformation Ben's going through, and like don't forget him, like he's going through his own fucking
Right.
experience. Just because he doesn't have the like physical like, you know, mark of like birth, he is also going through his own transformation, and it's really important and
Yeah.
overwhelming and messy and like, anyway, so good. But there was this one image that she uses of a labyrinth, and it's there's many ways in which she like brings it into like just relating it to birth. But the one element that I want to touch on is that she talks about how in some Greek mythology story that when people would go into labyrinths, or in this one story, this person would go into a labyrinth, and so he wouldn't get lost, he like strung
Mm.
out like a red thread
Mm-hmm.
to the center of the labyrinth so he could find his way back out. And so she called that like the red bed thread back to self,
Mm.
because oftentimes, and then talked a lot about how oftentimes people get lost in birth and the first year of parenting, that they forget themselves and they
Mm.
lose themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, but also like coming back to you is going to look very different. Like
Mm.
it's not going to be the same you, but because you're probably going to pick up things that you like from your old self that you wanted back because it's like really important to you, but there's
Yeah.
probably things that like you
You
might
let
not
go
pick
of.
back up because
Mm-hmm.
you're like, it's not that like important anymore. But she kept like, she was like, I really want you guys to have conversations for both partners of like, what will be your red thread, like back to self,
Mm.
like what do you need to get back to self. And I just like fucking love that. One of my thoughts was, I was like, Emily's gonna like, and then she also told the story of Anon, the person who like rang, like did drums again to call this person out of the underworld, which is supposed to be
Mm.
birth, back to self. So there's like this whole theme
Mm.
and
Yeah.
two different stories of like having someone in your life who
Mm-hmm.
can like call you back to self. And I just was
Oh,
like, oh, I have Emily.
that's gonna make me
She'll fucking find.
cry. Yeah.
She'll go into the underworld and be like, "Girl,
Gonna
you've
bang my
lost
little
yourself."
bongos,
Yeah,
congos.
and be like, "Over here, Sarah. Listen to the sound of my drums.
Yes.
Come out of the like labyrinth of like the messy
Mm-hmm.
like birth." Um, first few months of birth and brand new baby and be like, and remind you of like who you are and
Mm-hmm.
help you sift through that. And I just felt so grateful in those stories to like have you and to know that I just like was like, oh, Emily's gonna be on the other end of that red thread. Like, you can do it over
Totally. Girl, you know I
here.
am. Oh my God, I love that so much. And I actually like, I really like have, and you know what? I wonder if this is like part of it. You have such I think a really beautiful like relationship with your own body, because you have had to do so much work through like all the hard fucking like work that you have done to be sober and like addressing addiction, and how that is so, there's a lot of body, a lot of mind in that. And then like your like love for like your physical, like there's something about that and that connection that I think is going to be so valuable in that, even just like following that red thread back to yourself, because your body is going to be constantly speaking to yourself. I think where people can get lost in their like identity and their like thinking, but I remember being like, my body wanted to like, yeah, like I don't know, I think that that's going to be part. I'm like so fucking excited, and I'm going
I
to be
said the
there.
same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben said that. He
Mm,
immediately looked at me and he was like, dance, pole, physical movement, like that's gonna be your
such a big
like
component. Yeah.
such a big part of like getting back to yourself. And I was
Yes.
like, oh, I think that is 100% true.
Yeah.
And I see that I actually see pole be that for so many moms,
I mean, it
because the
was
other
for
thing
me in
Ben
a
said,
certain way. Yeah. Even though it was like years and years after I had babies, it was a huge part of my like reclaiming like this sensuality that I had lost. Yeah.
right, because it's like coming back to your body, like just for
For
you,
your own
just
enjoyment.
for you,
Yes.
your own pleasure, your own enjoyment,
Yes.
to feel good, to feel sexy and alive, and like, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I was realizing it actually. I was like, Ben is so similar to me, and that his will also be physical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, and what's your red thread? He was like, oh, for sure. Like working out, feeling like good, probably friendships.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
I love
but
that.
lots
Yeah.
of body stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like you're going to create a new relationship with your body, right? Because you've gone through
Mhm.
like an actual physical transformation. And I remember for me it was like that was when I had like an entire like revolution in my own self, in my sexuality, in just like my opinion of my body, and that it was something that deserved like to be celebrated. It was something that was powerful. And I am like, because like you already have such reverence, I think, for your body, for human
Mm-hmm.
bodies, you know. And I'm like so excited for you to like dive even into these other layers of like what you are accomplishing right now is fucking mind blowing, and what you are about to go
Mm-hmm.
into, this like massive portal. I do agree that there is definitely like a death that happens, but I think just at least what I've experienced is that there's it's an expansion that you contain
Yeah.
all the parts of you, that you don't lose
Mm-hmm.
anything actually. I think some
Mm-hmm.
people lose touch maybe, but really it's an
Mm-hmm.
expansiveness into a whole other realm, and I'm just like so excited for you and Ben to grow in that way, you know.
Yeah. No, totally. That's like, I don't know. That's been a lot of what we've been talking about this last weekend and thinking about, and it's been really nice. And it's been nice to like give space and time to like focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I also see in me almost a tendency, or just like, I haven't acted on it, but there is this like underlying feeling of like just wanting to ignore it until it happens.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's almost like overwhelming, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
there's like definitely a part of me that's like, maybe if we just don't look at that, like we won't, you
Yeah,
know.
totally. Yeah.
We can just deal with it when it comes. It'll be okay, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I have again. It's not a strong enough voice to like have actually like impacted anything we've done,
Mhm.
but
I
She's
think that makes
there.
sense. And honestly, there's like some
It's like
things,
pretend like it's not happening.
there are some things that you're just like truly not going to know until it happens. So I think that there is even like some wisdom in that voice of kind of like, I mean, we could imagine, but we might not know until it actually like presents itself, which I think that's okay. You know? Yeah. Well, I don't know. What are some of the things that you are like most like looking forward to in this like season that you're entering into?
Um, I mean, the first thing that popped into my head and almost made me cry was like seeing Ben as a dad.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be so just like into it.
Oh yeah.
Like so into it. I just get like glimpses of it with like him and the dogs, and I'm like, dude, you are like, I think he's gonna like love it more than he ever imagined he could love it.
And I think he's gonna
And
love
that
he's gonna love himself. Like this is what I'm excited for
Mhm.
both of you guys, is to like this whole new space of loving yourself as a mother and as a father, and like learning this part of you and having it unfold and teach you. Yeah. Oh my God.
It is weird though, and we mentioned this in an earlier podcast. I definitely think more about Ben being a dad than me being a mom. Which I find interesting. I don't know what that is. I think it's because it's outside of me. Do you know what I mean?
You can observe
like,
it. Yeah.
I can observe like some of his behaviors and then like think about, oh, how that might translate. So it's like a little easier almost. I'm obviously like so fucking excited to like be a mom and there be little baby Bennett. I think that I'll probably find the whole experience like pretty empowering, just because I don't know. That's something that Ben and I share actually, is like we've both like really been through some like hard shit. Um and we neither one of us like shy away from hard work. Like we both and so I think that's going to serve us well, and I think that will, again, this will be like another like story to add to like me feeling like empowered, but also like probably, you know, just like every phase of pregnancy where I've been like also very humbled and like just didn't think it was going to impact me as much as it did. Although I actually think I've had this one thought, because I've seen it play out with just a few friends, but there's this part of me that's curious if it has been built up so fucking big to be so big and so fucking miserable and sleep deprived and fucking hard, and that I have this one part of me that's like, am I gonna be like, you guys, like it is hard, but it's like the right kind of hard, and like it was so blown, you know what I mean? It's like when somebody tells you a movie's like so fucking good, and because of that expectation, it kind of like dampens the experience.
Yeah.
I have wondered if that will happen to me.
I think
a little
that's
bit.
super insightful, because I think
I don't know.
I think that makes sense. I don't know. When I was having my babies, I was the first one to have all my babies, so I didn't have a ton of that. Like I didn't have a ton of that like hype.
Bombarded with it.
I kind of felt like
bombarded.
Like I didn't know what was happening. Wow. I think that's yeah. I think that's going to be. I think you could probably go ahead and expect that that'll be the case in certain. It's
funny. Ben and I like both admitted it out loud to each other in bed the other night.
Yeah,
but it was like. But we both were like, massive caveat. We know we might be like, we're fucking idiots for thinking that.
Yeah.
like even allow yourself the space to think that you might be okay and like able to handle the hard work, and like, yeah, you'll have your moments, but it will be like, oh, like, okay. It's like almost like not allowed in like the culture conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so Ben and I were like whispering it to each other, like,
I mean, I really think like the things that are hard, it's not the actual thing. Like, yes, being sleep deprived is challenging and very hard, but your mindset about being sleep deprived is what makes the whole situation what it is.
Right.
Like, and that applies, I think, across the board, because if you are in a place of like, you're really struggling or suffering, or there's other elements in your life that are really challenging, it's going to inflame all of that stuff about having a newborn. Like when, when I was having babies, like we were like, had no money. We were like so broke. And that made certain things a lot more challenging, that I wouldn't experience really today, because it would be a completely different mindset and a different realm in my life. But I think so many people attach like it was this like newborn thing that was so hard, and not realizing how many other elements are at play. And I think because like you guys have cultivated like and really invested a lot of time and energy cultivating a life that's like really in alignment for you guys, I think you're going to have an opportunity to enjoy parts that maybe a lot of people miss because there were just other hard stuff happening. And I think it's going to be really important for you guys to give yourself permission to enjoy it when it's like surprisingly maybe not as awful, and also giving yourself permission to let things be hard when they're hard, and let it be what it is,
and right. Because it's probably going to be both and, right?
Yeah,
we're going to be like have moments where we're like,
this fucking sucks, also I think, and this isn't so bad.
And the thing that you said about the expectations is kind of exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like we have this expectation of it being so hard and so just like grueling, and like that, I think, I don't know, it's like the movie thing.
Yeah.
We might get there and be like, I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. We have no idea. And also, it also depends. It depends on so many factors.
Yeah.
Like how labor goes.
That you have no control over, really. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. So it's like, it's so much. You're talking about two completely different stories. If like you have a traumatic birth and like baby's unhealthy, like that's going to fucking knock you on your ass. Like, or if you have like a relatively like healthy delivery and a healthy baby, like that's a completely different experience. Completely different stories.
Yeah. And then the other thing is they're completely different. Like in future pregnancies and deliveries, they're going to be completely different. Like my experience having Evie was so much more challenging because I had back labor and postpartum depression. And then having Lila, I was like, this is a fucking piece of cake. I had like a completely different experience, but both of them, I like loved both of them in their own realm. I'm honestly kind of glad it happened that way and not the other way around, because then it would have been like really fucking hard to have Evie.
Right, because you'd have that like comparison.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like, I don't know. I think you just literally having a baby is as nuanced and unique as just like living a fucking life. Like, so anybody could be like, my life is hard and everybody's lives are hard. It just doesn't work. It's like, I think the thing is that it's going to tell you what it is and you get to experience it. And I think like the best thing you guys will be able to do, which you guys have so many tools and you've done so much work in your relationship around communicating and having a good mindset about whatever it is that you guys are going to experience, and go through. And that's going to be like, I don't know. I feel like seeing you and Ben, even up until this point, go through this process has been like so healing for me, because like I did experience like this phase of life really young and not feeling secure or safe in a lot of ways. And so it's just been really beautiful just to be close to it, honestly. And I'm just like, I have so much faith in you guys. Like it is going to be exactly what it needs to be for you guys,
That's true. It will be exactly what it needs to be and what it's supposed to be. So we shall see.
And this is the capsule.
Guys, we'll see you on the others. We'll see you on the other side of this.
When Sarah's a mama and all the wisdom, the rugged wisdom you will have gleaned from these months.
And now I can tell all the people with no children that they have no idea what they
don't know what they're fucking talking about.
I'm superior.
Yes.
No, I have like vowed to myself that I will never say that.
Yeah.
No. And that will probably be a belief that changes.
We'll see.
No, I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so fucking obnoxious. It's so obnoxious. Oh, when you're a mother, you'll see. It's like, anyway.
Yeah.
I apologize on behalf of all annoying mothers.
Yeah. I'm so excited
determined not to become one.
Yeah, I'm like so excited
to loop back when I'm annoying.
Well, but no, to just see what insight you have around like why they are so annoying. Like, I think you're just going to have like, you're going to have insight, compassion, like it's, your whole heart's going to explode into like such a bigger space. And I'm just so excited to see all of that. It's going to be
That's
really,
probably true.
yeah.
I'll probably be like, I get why they do that.
You get why they do it, but you're going to do it better. You're going to speak better, connect better. Like, that's the thing is like, I feel like that's how it is. It's like, I get why they do it, but I'm going to choose not to be obnoxious.
Yeah.
I love you so much. And thank you everybody who's listened and followed along with this journey.
Seriously.
I feel so honored and I so value and appreciate every single one of you. And we're going to miss you and can't wait till, what's next for Inner Archeology.
Seriously, guys, it's been a really it's been a really eye-opening experience to connect with each of you, and we love when you reach out and share your insights and stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to see what like the next iteration brings.
Yes.
So
me too. Season 2.
Season 2, let's go.
Okay, so until then,
bye.
Bye.